We've all been there. You're hungry, but your food is taking forever to finish cooking. You open the oven or grill every couple minutes, stick in a thermometer, and pretty soon, your beautiful steak or your roast or your side of salmon is full of holes and still not done. This is a losing proposition. The more you open that oven or grill and let the heat out, the longer your food will take to cook. But you don't want to miss hitting that perfect temperature. Now we do have a favorite probe thermometer, the ChefAlarm by ThermoWorks. This has a display, a 47-inch cable, and a probe that you put in the food to track the temperature. It costs about $64. It works great, but you have to be there to read the display or be close enough to hear the alarm. So if you're having a party or you're trying to work in another room while you cook, this is a disruption. Remote thermometers promise to let you keep track of your food's temperature from afar, so you can do long, slow cooking without hovering around. We tested 7 models, priced roughly from $45 to $230. First, there are 2 types of these gadgets, pager style and smartphone connected. Pager style thermometers use radio frequency to send the temperature to a monitor that you carry or clip on, just like a walkie-talkie or a baby monitor. Smartphone connected ones use Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which are not the same, more on that later, to send the temperature to an app on your phone. Now we tested 2 pager style and 5 smartphone connected models. Most work the same way. You stick a probe in the food and a wire goes from that probe to the base that sits near the stovetop or the oven or grill. The base transmits to you. Now 2 of these models were wireless. These little spikes send the temperature data directly to your phone. Now to test them, we slow roasted pork butt on a gas grill for 4 hours. We seared burgers on the stovetop, and we roasted whole chickens on a charcoal grill and in the oven. During each test, we walked up to 1,000 feet away from the probes, up and down stairs and behind walls, frequently checking that connection. We tested them in the test kitchen and at home. We used them in the dark, in the rain, and in an area with limited cell service. Now, first things first, setup posed some problems. The pager style ones were super easy. The base and the monitor arrived already paired. The smartphone ones were another story. We had to download their apps and then pair them with our phones. And for some models, this was fine. You push the buttons on their base and that paired the thermometers with the phones. But other models took a million extra steps that were confusing or cumbersome. Pairing one of them involved nearly an hour of rereading the instructions and searching online for answers. Eventually, we figured out that we had to position the probe close to the lower portion of the base to get it to pair up. And this was an unusual extra step that wasn't clear in the manual and that none of the other thermometers required. And finally, those 2 wireless probes had to be charged for at least 4 hours before we could even pair them with a phone. Now, charging is not a deal breaker, but it slowed us down, and it's something you'd have to remember to do every time you're going to use them. Ultimately, we got everything going, but as you know, not without significant frustration. So next, we set to work seeing how easy it was to set the alarms and how well they maintained a connection. First up was cooking those pork butts on the gas grill. We distributed the probes of all the models among 3 roasts and set the thermometers to alert us when the food reached 210 degrees. And then we walked up to 1,000 feet in various directions away from the grill, up and down the stairs, behind thick concrete walls and metal barriers, all while continuously checking the connections. All the Bluetooth thermometers lost connection first. 1 stopped transmitting at just 25 feet. 3 others quit at about 150 feet. The pager style ones had a moderate range of about 300 to 450 feet in open air, about the length of a football field. Only the Wi-Fi connected thermometer kept sending temperature readings no matter how far away we were from the grill. This model only lost connection when we went into an area with no cell phone or Wi-Fi service, and then its range dropped to just about 100 feet. After all this, we concluded that the pager style thermometers were the best bet. With a moderate range of 300 to 450 feet, they struck a good balance of connection range and usability, and they let us skip wrangling with glitchy apps. Too many of those apps were difficult to navigate and didn't give clear alerts when we were out of range or when the food reached the right temperature. And there was another drawback. Most of them had preset temperatures built in for various cuts and types of meat. And these presets are usually based on FDA recommendations, but those recommendations focus on safety rather than food quality, so you get badly overcooked food. And the trouble is, if you don't use their presets, trying to set a custom temperature was a bear. One of these apps would only let us enter a maximum of 2 digits, so we had to convert all the Fahrenheit temperatures to Celsius to use that function. And worse, When they inevitably lost connection, the smartphone models didn't always automatically reconnect when we were back in range. Sometimes we had to reopen the phone's Bluetooth settings and repair the probe. One was so glitchy that every single time the screen lock on our phone came on, the thermometer lost connection. So we had to remove the probe from the food, return it to its base, and repair the probe to our phone. So at the risk of sounding old-fashioned, we found the pager-style thermometers were much simpler to use. Our favorite had big clear buttons and a large bright display that made setting and reading the temperature super easy. The alarm was loud, and it also beeped to let us know when we'd lost connection from the base. And best of all, it automatically reconnected itself when we walked back into range. Now, aside from how easy it is to use or not, accuracy is important in the thermometers. So we conducted a series of accuracy tests. We used an immersion circulator that heats water to a very precise temperature to warm the water bath to 130, 180, and 212 degrees Fahrenheit. We hooked up the thermometers to the water bath, and we compared their readings to a lab-calibrated reference thermometer. All but one of the thermometers was accurate to within 1 degree. That inaccurate thermometer was off by up to 7 degrees, and that could make the difference between a medium well and well done steak. We tried a second copy, and it was off by 3 degrees. Not as egregious, but less accurate than we prefer in a thermometer. We also tested how fast thermometers could relay temperature information from the probes to the receivers by dunking the room temperature probes in ice water 3 times and timing how long it took for the receivers to read 32 degrees. Read times ranged from an average of 5 seconds, on par with our favorite ChefAlarm, to an average of 25 seconds. Now, while you're unlikely to overcook your food in 25 seconds, we preferred products with a rapid relay time of 10 seconds or less, especially when we're using a thermometer for very temperature-sensitive tasks like candy making. Now, in the end, our favorite was the ThermoWorks Smoke 2-channel alarm at about $100. This is a pager-style thermometer, and it was accurate to within 0.1 degree of a reference thermometer. It maintained a stable connection across 300 feet of open space, about the length of a football field. The receiver paired instantly with its base, and its big, bright, backlit displays on both the base and the receiver are super easy to read, even in low light. The base is magnetic and can be attached to an oven door or a grill lid, and it has a kickstand to stand it up on a counter or table. The receiver has a lanyard so you can wear it around your neck. And if we ever did lose connection, it beeped loudly. You can just push a button to turn that off, and it automatically connected up again when we're back in range. The Smoke can read up to 572 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it even more versatile because you can also use it as a traditional thermometer for candy making or deep frying. Now, one note, while this model is a pager-style thermometer, ThermoWorks also sells a product called the Smoke Gateway at about $80 that can convert this to a smartphone-connected thermometer. We tried that, and we found it was difficult to pair, and the app was glitchy, so we recommend that you skip it. If you prefer a smartphone-connected product, we can recommend the NutriChef Bluetooth Wireless Barbecue Grill Thermometer, which costs about $45. Now, for more information on all the products we tested and all the other tests we did, check out the links below.